Morning, R.L. Rousey. Happy fall to all of you. It seems more fall-like this week than it did even last week. So earlier this week, as I'm starting to think, what should we talk about, not only this Sunday, but through October and the coming weeks? Well, what do we need? What would be helpful? And in a very selfish way, what would be very helpful for me? And a colleague of mine recommended a book, and at first, before I looked into it, I thought, I'm not sure about this. But the more I looked at it, the more I thought, this is exactly what I think I personally need, and maybe you might need it too. This is a book by Julia Cameron. She is well known for writing The Artist's Way, and it's been the subject of workshops since, I believe, the mid-1990s, so it's really a staple in metaphysical thought and teaching these days. But this book that she wrote is called The Prosperous Heart, Creating a Life of Enough. Now, at first, when I read that, as you know, that if you were to go to a bookstore or let your fingers do the walking through Kindle, there are many, many books about prosperity. And often, and of course, many of them will talk about prosperity not being just about financial gain, that it's really a wide thing. But still, even when we do prosperity workshops or something here, people are still like, so when did you teach us to pray about money? There's always that kind of thing like, but, yeah, I know it's about everything, but, can't we talk about the other thing? But this is what got me, because I didn't want just another book where it was ambiguous. And she writes this, I believe, in the foreword, or the first chapter, I don't recall. It says, the opposite of prosperity is not poverty, it is anxiety. When we are possessed of a prosperous heart, we do not act rashly out of anxiety. And this shouldn't be news to you, but there's a lot of anxiety right now, I think, within the world and at us all. And so the way that I'm approaching using this book as a resource this month, and it may even go into November, is I think this is the time now, especially as we have many decisions in our country to make over the next few weeks, to have a spiritual practice where we seek to let go of anxiety. Because as she said here, we act rashly out of anxiety. So if you are trying to set intentions for the future, more positive ways of being, if you're doing so out of anxiety or fear or just extreme worry, and I know that those are common human reactions, and for anyone who says that they are devoid of them, I don't think they're being honest to themselves. But to have this constant check that I'm willing to give up those feelings as much as humanly possible for me. That I know that as I want just not a different life for myself, but for our community and the country and the world, that those decisions have to be made at a very low level of not being devoid of anxiety. And that a spiritual practice right now, I believe, has to be about getting to that baseline where you can allow yourself to be touched by what I call a divine idea. That anxiety puts a barrier to such things. And again, as I was thinking this morning, trying to set an intention when you are experiencing a high level of anxiety is a bit like trying to go to the supermarket when you're starving. Do you know how good the deep fried chicken wing section looks, to me at least, when I'm hungry? And do you know that when I go there just normally, it really doesn't look that good? Do you know how likely it is that you'll have an open pack of Oreos by the time you leave the market? If you go in starving, think, I just need to pick up a few things for dinner, but boy, those Oreos look good. So think of it right now that if we don't, in a sense, give up that hunger, that anxiety, that we're less likely to make wise decisions and set good intentions. That often it's said, and I say, that it's not what we pray for, but what we pray from. That if we are praying from a sense of groundedness, it almost doesn't matter what the thing is you have in mind, that you most likely, if you are grounded, you have a sense of a greater good, a sense of wanting to be, or willing to be touched by a divine idea, that the words at that point don't matter because you're right in the spot that you need to go. And in fact, the more fear or anxiety that we are in, it seems like at that point, I've noticed with myself and others sometimes, that we are so concerned about the words, the exact words of our intentions, that if we don't craft those perfectly, that we don't have any chance of it coming to fruition. But if we give up that anxiety and just go, I'm just centered right now in a divine idea, and I'm not even sure exactly what it looks like, but I'm willing to let it unfold. So one aspect of fear that is talked about in, I believe, chapter 2 of this book, and I really like this. She talks about magic numbers. Well, we'll talk about what a magic number is. It says a number isn't magic. A number is just a number. However, we believe with all our being that a magic number exists, and that getting to it will solve all of our problems. But every time we reach that number, the number is suddenly too low. Or in other words, the goalposts get put forward. So what's a magic number? So looking at everyone that's watching today, we all have a financial life. And we're probably all at very different financial levels. And there's a part of us, and all of us, that probably says we don't have enough on that level. Come on, be honest with yourself. There's a part of you, and even though you want to say we're all spiritual, there's a part of you that says you don't have enough on some level. And your magic number is that number that in your mind today would say, I finally have enough. This is where fantasies come out like the lotto fantasy. Or somehow, like I said, I'm going to really hit it big. This is the makings of some people who unfortunately end up or need to seek help through things like Gamblers Anonymous. Like there has to be that big thing. And I've known people that have gone into different money schemes thinking, boy, I said, it sounded too good to be true and I lost my money. Well, that's usually a kind of a good indication here. But this idea that, with just this little effort, I could get this huge outcome here. And these magic numbers never really work. That we, in a sense, are always putting off in the future are good because, in a sense, my life won't be healed, or I won't have the things that I want, or I won't be set for the retirement I think I would like to have until I get that magic number. And so that's something to be cautious of. How have you made magic numbers in your life? But the thing is, what really fuels the idea of a magic number is some people actually seem to get them. Or someone will get a windfall. I was watching Wheel of Fortune the other day. Come on, you watch it too. Not every day, but you watch it too. And so I don't remember who the person was, but they had a really good day at Wheel of Fortune, and they won something like $80,000. Now, $80,000 is not going to make a permanent change in your life. It could do some nice things in your life, but think of it. It's not going to permanently change your life, but still, at the same time, if you're watching this episode, you did the same thing. I know you did. There's still this idea of, if I had that, look at these possibilities that would open up. I mean, come on, you would do that. Even if you have lots in your account, you say, boy, when we can travel again, I could really celebrate with a really great vacation. I could go business class. Instead of being in the back with the ducks and the chickens. Or let's say if your financial situation now is really difficult, that you've been laid off or on the verge of being laid off. Boy, something like $80,000 would just not change your life forever, but boy, it would sure get some relief. So money has some real things that it can do. But the negative thing of this magic number is how we create this fantasy around it. That if you are in a difficult time, you might think that the only way out of it is to, I'll go get another scratch off at the 7-Eleven or something, and maybe I'll get that magic number. And again, real people occasionally do this, and it fuels our fire around it. Here's a story I told a few years ago, and it's my favorite lotto story, so I'm going to tell it again. So one of my clients in the 1990s had a very good friend, a married couple, who won the California lottery. They were both engineers in the aerospace industry. They were kind of middle-age-ish, and they were really ready not to be engineers anymore. I mean, they really were ready not to do it anymore, and they won the lottery. And so what they did, how they quit their jobs, became folklore within this aerospace company. And I'm sure if it still exists, it's still the same thing going around, that as the day was beginning, I guess they start at 9 o'clock, whatever they do, and there's a long street that leads up to the main building. Suddenly, off in the distance was a stretch limo with tinted glass. And it drives up and it stops in front of the administration building. And this couple, man and woman, come out in their pajamas, robe, and scruffy slippers. And the woman even had hair rollers in her hair. They walked into the building to the receptionist, tendered their resignation, got back in to the limo, and limoed off into the sunset. Now, can you imagine if you were one of the people working with them? Boy, you've got magic number madness. Oh my God, look what they did. I want to do this. Let's go buy a lotto ticket. So that unfortunately fuels the flame. And of course, there's other ways to look at this magic number business. For you, it may not be money. That there's many of us that we fall into this trap of, I'm not satisfied with my life or how things are going right now. It would be perfect if I had the right spouse or a life partner. It would be perfect if my current career transformed in some way, or I even got a job, or I had the quote-unquote perfect career where I just felt like I was making a difference in the world. Some people will say, my life would be perfect if I found the right geographic location. And I've known people that have moved every couple of years, not because they just thought it would be great to experience different part of the countries, but they thought, boy, it's just not going well here. And I just know that city X, or 2 years later, city Z, that it would. And people in this kind of magic number sense can be almost in a revolving door where they're always like anticipating and hoping, and this is the next best thing. I just finally met someone, and I know this is the one. Haven't you had a lot of friends, you meet for coffee or something, he says, oh, I met the one. And 3 weeks later, it says, not so much the one. and we sometimes this magic number in that way can put us in this sense where we're never in the present moment. We're always thinking that a good life is somewhere off in the future. And that until we get to that future, just life won't be right. And Julia Cameron writes, chasing the magic number is an illusion because it not only puts you outside of yourselves in the process, it puts you outside of today. For into the future, where we are free to make up stories based on nothing but fantasy. Now again, the whole way that we shift our lives is to set intentions. But we have to be aware that we plant the seeds now. And that we have to experience the now in its fullness if we want these other ways of life to start shooting up in the future. That we have to see, what are the opportunities today? How can I be touched by a divine idea today? How can I not put it off until tomorrow, today? And I think that's where we will resolve a lot of what we're doing right now. That we have to know, and we've got a magic number now. Everyone has a different magic number with the world today. Magic number is who should win the elections November 3rd, and there's literally hundreds of people on the ballots throughout the country. So your magic number may be exactly who should be on those ballots. And in your mind, unless it's exactly how you think, it's not going to work out. Your magic number might be certain things that pass in Congress. And in that future thinking that unless if it happens exactly the way I think it is, in that future moment, it's not going to work out. So when we get it down to that exactness, we're probably going to be disappointed. And once we get there, there's going to be another number, another magic thing that needs to happen before we'll feel right. So this is a great time to start to give that up. What I also like what she had to say, she says, there is no such thing as magic numbers, but there is such a thing as magic. What feels like magic is different for all of us. A bluebird on the windowsill, a beautiful sunset, the handmade Valentine from our child, the friend who holds our hand and listens to us with compassion and total acceptance. This is true prosperity. And there's something even deeper in here. So I would imagine if you're having some really big challenges in your life, again, if you're not working, you have a family member that's experiencing COVID, you say, well, that sounds lovely, John, but I can't think of bluebirds and sunsets right now. I have some really serious things in my life, and in fact, why are you talking about bluebirds and sunsets right now? These are things that are really important, and they are. But let me tell you how putting yourself in a different frame of consciousness can do amazing things. That to try to lift ourselves out of anxiety can actually give you real-world answers. So, as some of you know, during the warmer months here, and even with the change in the world these last few months, I'm still in my office from Monday through Thursday much of the day. And it's just very grounding to be here, and it's very grounding to envision you here, and just to have the privilege of being here when so many of you can't right now. And part of my overall health program, both mental and physical, is that many of those days when the weather was right and there's no smoke in the air, I get on my bicycle. And I'll do a quick back to Haley and back in about 45 minutes. But there's always a good reason not to hop on my bike. There's always, and some days it really is impossible. I've just unfortunately spaced phone appointments or Zoom appointments that there's just not enough time to kind of get to and fro. But there's other days that I do. And I still have excuses. There's just, what some of you don't realize, there's the work that we think of as what a minister or clergy person does. And then there's the work of just overseeing the daily operations of a nonprofit, organization. And sometimes it's endless. And sometimes it seems like I've got this much time and this much stuff that needs to do. And I'll think, gosh, I've got all this stuff to do. Can I really jump on my bike today? And so I had one of those moments earlier in this week before the smoke moved back in. And I thought, no, you're going to get on the bike. You're going to do it. The stuff will still be there when you get back, and so what? If you have to stay later tomorrow or something, just get on the bicycle. And I guess you could say getting on the bicycle is thinking about bluebirds and sunsets. But here's something amazing that happens for me, is that there is such a release of anxiety when I am on that ride that by the time I'm on my way back on the bike from Haley, it's like, a barrier has been released. And that even some answers I was looking for in the morning that just seemed to confuse me so much, it's like they just popped in my head. And it's not like I'm trying to problem solve while I'm out there on the bike path. It's just like I let down that barrier of anxiety, and real world answers actually flow in. It's amazing. So part of this is that we have to not turn away from what's happening, but we have to, at the same time, disconnect just a little bit, that we can have a real and true perspective. That we can release that level of anxiety that, as we say, divine ideas can touch us. So it's not just a Pollyanna white lighter sort of thing to think, start thinking about bluebirds and sunsets. It puts you in a different state of consciousness. And right now, we really need to be in a different state of consciousness. We really need to trust the divine ideas that are trying to touch us and inspire us and guide us. And one last quote that Julia writes about guidance, she says, very often people don't so much doubt their guidance as their ability to follow it. Sometimes these divine ideas can seem so overwhelming. How could I do this? Who am I to even consider this divine idea? Well, if it landed in your brain, it's yours. The world needs divine ideas right now. It needs your divine ideas. And it needs us all to lower that anxiety level so they can come in. So let's just know this together right now. That the presence of the divine is right where we are. It shows up as each of us. And as we accept this knowledge, this truth, we accept that with the divine presence is divine ideas. That we allow ourselves to be in situations and in spiritual practice where we release anxiety, where we let go of all that which is not true. That we know that there is a greater purpose and a greater path that we are all on right now, and that we each have a part. We just let it go. Divine ideas are here, and the divine ideas are you. I give thanks for this, and in great gratitude, I just simply let it go. I let it be. And know that as we let go of these divine ideas into the universe, amazing things happen. And so it is.